Ready to have your mind blown about the power of information.
Always up for that. What are we diving into today?
We're tackling Yuval Noah Harari's Nexus, the Sapiens guy.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't mess around with small ideas.
No, he does not. In Nexus, Harari goes deep on how information networks, from ancient storytelling to the algorithms we live with today, have shaped history and what that means for us now.
Sounds intense.
It is, but also surprisingly relatable. He uses these really vivid examples, like you won't believe what he has to say about astrology.
Astrology, is this where he tells us to blame Mercury retrograde for everything?
Not exactly. Okay, so we tend to think more information equals more truth, right?
Makes sense, right?
Well, Harari flips the script. He says it's actually about connection. That's what truly makes information powerful.
Interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued. How so?
Think about astrology. Does it, accurately map the cosmos? Debatable, right?
Right, debatable.
But has it shaped empires, decisions, even today's multi-billion-dollar market? Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, you got a point there. It's I know people who check their horoscopes, but to think empires were run on this stuff.
Exactly. And Harari says that's because information, even if it's not factually accurate, it creates these shared narratives, these stories that connect us, and those stories are the invisible threads holding entire human networks together.
So it's kind of like money then. I mean, a dollar bill is just paper, but the story we all agree on, that's what gives it value,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly, you're getting it. Harari calls these intersubjective realities, things that only exist because enough of us agree they do. Nations, laws, even gods, all products of shared stories.
Wow, okay. That makes sense. But how does he support this? Does he have any examples?
Oh, he's got examples. And they're not what you'd expect. He tells this incredible story about the NILI spy ring in World War I.
That's spy ring, huh? Okay, tell me more.
So, picture this. Palestine during World War I. This group, the NILI spy ring, is secretly working with the British against the Ottoman Empire.
High stakes. So how does information factor in?
Well, they had to be incredibly resourceful. One member, Sarah Aronson, used her window shutter to signal British ships off the coast.
Oh, window shutter. You're kidding.
Nope. That simple, everyday object became a tool for espionage, transmitting vital information right under the noses of the Ottoman Empire. But their story takes a heartbreaking turn.
Oh no, what happened?
A carrier pigeon, a crucial part of their information network, went off course. And it wasn't carrying just any message, it had evidence of their entire operation.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Right into enemy hands. That one pigeon, this tiny piece of their network, had massive consequences. It highlights just how important stories are, but also how they have their limitations.
Yeah, I mean, you can't exactly write the tax code on the back of a pigeon. Things get a bit more complex as societies grow, right?
Right. And that's where Harari takes us next, to the development of a more, shall we say, reliable system. Documents. So is that where we get, bureaucracy from? Please don't say bureaucracy. Oh, but it is. Believe it or not. Those ancient Mesopotamians meticulously etching sheep deliveries and tax records onto clay tablets were onto something.
I mean, I guess it's better than trying to memorize it all.
Right. They needed a way to remember it all, and those early documents, those lists, were the solution. And to manage all those records, you guessed it, bureaucracy.
Okay, fine. I'll never complain about filling out a form again if it means I don't have to use a chisel on a clay tablet. But there's got to be a bigger point here, right? It's not just ancient Mesopotamians and their sheep.
No, absolutely. It's about this human need to create order from chaos, to organize information on a huge scale. Bureaucracy gets a bad rap, but at its core, it's about creating systems to find the right information at the right time.
Okay, yeah, I guess as much as we complain about it, bureaucracy is kind of essential for any complex society, isn't it? There's a but coming, though, isn't there? This need for order. Doesn't it come with a cost?
So we've gone from stories around a fire to meticulously organizing information on clay tablets. It's a long way from a casual chat to full-blown bureaucracy.
Right, quite the journey.
Where does Harari take us next in this whole information evolution?
Fasten your seatbelts, because he takes us straight into the Matrix.
Okay, wait, the Matrix? Like Neo and all that?
Not literally, but you'll see what I mean. He introduces this whole idea of the inorganic network. It's this new type of information network, and it's powered by something that's changing everything. AI.
AI, right. Everyone's talking about it. But Harari doesn't exactly paint a rosy picture, does he?
He's cautious.
Yeah.
Which, understandably so. AI isn't just another tech tool. It's not like the printing press or even the internet. It's fundamentally different.
How so?
Well, for one thing, it can process information and even make decisions at speeds and scales that our brains can only dream of. I mean, we're talking light speed compared to, like, a snail.
It's the whole make decisions part that really throws me off. It's not just crunching numbers anymore, right?
Right. We're talking about algorithms that are already deciding who gets loans, which resumes, even gets seen by human eyes, even who gets parole. And that's, as they say, just the tip of the iceberg.
It's funny you mention those examples because I was just reading about how these AI loan approvals, they can actually perpetuate biases, even though they're designed to be impartial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest concerns. We've built these systems to be impartial, but they're still learning from data that's full of our own human biases.
It's like trying to teach a robot to be fair when we haven't even figured it out ourselves.
And the thing is, even the people who create AI, they often don't fully understand how these complex systems make their decisions. It's like this black box. Data goes in, decisions come out, but that process in between, it's a mystery, even to the programmers.
So we've got this technology, it's evolving crazy fast, and it's making decisions in ways we don't fully grasp. And yeah, there are definitely those people who are like, AI is going to solve all our problems, but Harari seems more concerned about, I don't know, is it too dramatic to say, like, the end of the world as we know it?
Well, he does lay out a couple of scenarios that are, let's just say, unsettling.
Okay, like what? Hit me with it.
One scenario is AI supercharging those conflicts that already exist. Imagine a world divided not by an iron curtain, but a silicon curtain. Control of advanced AI dictates global power.
Okay, that sounds a little too Black Mirror for me.
But because of AI-powered weapons, even a tiny disagreement could blow up into something really, really bad.
Okay, yeah, that's terrifying enough. But you said there were other scenarios. What's scarier than a silicon curtain?
Imagine this. We're basically puppets, controlled by algorithms that we don't understand.
So not like a Terminator situation?
No robot overlords, just lines of code. They become the new overlords, shaping our lives through data and algorithms. It's less Terminator, more like an eerily efficient puppet master, you know.
So not a robot uprising, but our own creations becoming so complex that they're basically alien to us.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. And what makes Harari's take on this so interesting is that he doesn't pretend to have all the answers.
He's not just going to tell us to unplug from the matrix and hope for the best.
Nope. He throws out this massive, complex question. In this age of AI, can we balance our pursuit of truth with our need for order?
Which is the big question, right? Because as we've been talking about, truth and order, they don't always play nicely together, and AI seems to complicate that relationship even more.
Big time. Especially when you consider that AI can manipulate information in ways we're only beginning to understand. Like, think about how easily misinformation spreads online these days, how algorithms create those echo chambers, just reinforcing our biases instead of challenging them.
It's like we're back to the power of stories again, right?
Exactly. But amplified to, like, the 1000th degree.
It's almost like Harari is drawing this direct line from those ancient stories to the algorithms that are shaping our world today. Like, we've gone from campfire tales to digital narratives.
But the underlying power of stories, especially stories that connect with us, well, that hasn't changed.
I've got to say, listening to all this, it's a lot to process. It's kind of overwhelming to think about how much power AI has, you know? Especially when it comes to shaping how we see the world.
It definitely is. But you know, what I find so compelling about Harari's whole take on this is that he doesn't leave us feeling powerless.
Oh, good. Because, yeah, a little overwhelmed over here.
He reminds us that history isn't set in stone. We still get to make choices.
Okay, choices about what? Give me an example.
Well, like how we design these systems, right? How we regulate them. Even what values we decide are important enough to build into them.
So it's not just about the tech itself.
No, it's bigger than that. It's like, are we creating AI to serve us, or are we going to end up serving it? And we need to be asking these questions now while it's still evolving.
So it's all about the intention, the foresight that goes into building it. We have to really be mindful of how AI evolves. Like, every single line of code has these potential consequences.
Exactly. And that's what makes this conversation so important. It's not just a tech thing. It's an ideas thing.
A battle of ideas.
Yeah.
Sounds intense. Like, what kind of ideas are we talking about here?
Well, think about it. Truth, transparency, human agency.
Okay, yeah, those are some pretty big ones.
Right. And those ideas are up against things like, control, manipulation, even oppression.
Yikes.
And all these different ideas, they're being embedded into the very fabric of these AI systems that we're creating.
Wow. So it's like, we're back to that tension between truth and order. But on this whole other level, it's not just about organizing information anymore. It's about like shaping reality itself in this age of AI.
Exactly. And the point is, this isn't some battle happening in a lab somewhere or in some government building. This is happening every day in all the little choices that we make.
Like what? What kind of choices?
About the information that we choose to consume, about the sources that we trust, even just the algorithms that we let shape our views of the world.
So we have more agency than we realize.
Right. We have to be active in the information ecosystem, not just passively scrolling and letting it wash over us.
I like that. We're not just along for the ride. We actually have a say in how this whole thing unfolds.
Totally. And that's why Harari's book is so important. It's a call to action, like wake up and pay attention. He wants us to understand the power of information in this new age.
So where do we go from here? What are we supposed to do with all of this?
I think the first step is awareness. Just recognizing the power that information has and how easily it can be manipulated, especially with AI in the mix.
And then what can I, as one person, even do about it? It feels like a pretty big problem to tackle.
It does, but like we were saying earlier, it comes down to the choices we make every day. Be mindful. Mindful of the information you consume, the sources you trust, the algorithms you let shape your worldview. Be an active participant, not just a passive consumer. And then, share what you're learning with others. Have those critical conversations. Challenge the status quo.
It's like that whole think globally, act locally idea, but for the digital age, right?
Exactly. Every little action, every conversation, it all adds up.
I like that. It feels empowering. So I guess that's our call to action for everyone listening today.
I think so.
If this deep dive into Nexus has sparked your curiosity, and I have a feeling it has, pick up the book and do some exploring yourself. This is a conversation that's just getting started, and we all have a part to play in shaping the future of information, which, let's be honest, is really the future of humanity itself. So until next time, keep asking those tough questions and keep those minds wide open.